Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Inheritor back again with another replay analysis for the Rocket League. So, real quickly before we get started, I just want to mention that if you are interested in some free coaching, you can join the Discord server that is linked down in the description below. And like I said, it is free. You can use it as much as you need. And I host that within my Discord server, so just feel free to join. Link is down in the description. Also, I stream on Twitch pretty much daily, so that'll be my starting time is somewhere in between 8 and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Unless I happen to be busy with coaching work, then I might be a little late, but I'm usually pretty good about being on time. So, that being said, for this replay analysis, this is Frizzymint. He is a gold 3, and we are doing an analysis on 2v2s. Didn't mention anything in particular, so we're just going to do our thing. Let's get right on in. Just to point something out here. It has not necessarily anything to do with your flip or anything, but do if you don't have anything bound for air roll, just your regular air roll. I don't use air roll left or right. I use the regular air roll. That will help you make sure that you land on your wheels. Just a quick pointer there. Sometimes it just can't be controlled, but just thought I'd point that out. This right here, this wasn't on you. Although it was kind of risky to go for this, given your teammates right there. It wasn't necessarily on you because your teammates should have left it. Good try on that flip. I would have kept going back to net and probably grabbed that boost so the opponents didn't get it. Went a little early. You rushed your shot here and you really didn't have to. Could have waited for it to bounce and just blasted it, and it probably, assuming you hit it properly, would have went into the air and would have been a hard save for your opponents. I would have tried to rush a little faster back to net. You did flip once, which is good, but you probably should have flipped again to get to that boost. That way you could recover quicker. Not a whole lot you could have done here. However, I definitely would have checked on the play to see how quickly you should have gone back, which kind of takes me back to your faster rotating back faster. Not necessarily that you would have been able to get the height that you needed for the save. However, there were a couple of boost pads you could have picked up, and that would have been enough to get the save if you were able to make it back on time. So you know, try to speed up your rotations a little bit. So instead of flipping off the wall like that, you could have just drove down the wall a bit and jumped off and done a wave dash, and then continued flipping, and you probably would have already been supersonic, and you could have just picked up that boost pad back here, then this boost pad, that would have been 24 boost, which is enough to get to the top of the net. Hard saying. Don't get me wrong, that wasn't your fault. That's just advice for you in terms of your recoveries. Oh, I thought that was way up in the air. You might have been able to get to that. Maybe. Good job waiting to see if he was going to get a touch there rather than just bum rushing it. Your teammate shouldn't have been there. That was not your fault. I don't know why they went for that. So your teammate is definitely chasing much more than you are, which is good. It's good that you're playing a little safer. Instead of, well, that's hard to say. Your teammate should have had a touch there. Overall, good job reacting to what was going on in the play. This is another situation where you kind of rushed your shot and you really didn't have to. Instead of jumping back here, wait until you get close to the ball, and then make your shot. It might go over the net, but at least that'll guarantee you're gonna hit the ball. And I mean, you hit it, but you also gave away ball possession, and that should have been a goal on their part. But no worries, just keep in mind, try not to rush your shots, because sometimes you just don't have to, which is going to lead me to my next pointer in making sure you're keeping an eye on your opponents, so you know what's going on with the play. This is the second time you've done that with your half flip. You're just trying to air roll the wrong way. I don't know if you have a specific air roll bound, which actually this answers my question from earlier, or with my statement from earlier regarding not knowing whether you have air roll bound or not, but obviously you do. But there's a little advice for your half flip. Just use your air roll in the direction that your car is turning it on its own. Until you get it mastered in which you can go either which way, because your car will stay straight. The way you're doing it is the same way I do it. So, you know, when your car goes horizontal, it will only turn a certain direction if you don't have it straight, like you don't have the flip cancels like perfect. Anyways, back to this. This is hard to say because your teammate is literally right there and risking bumping you out of the way. But normally, if your opponent or your teammate wasn't there, I would have just tried to catch it with the side of my car and rolled it towards the corner boost, gotten the boost and taken it up the wall. But given your circumstance, that was good. Again, you rushed your shot here. You really didn't have to rush that much. So, right here, you're going all the way back for boost. You have 42. Instead of going back for a full boost when you already have half boost, just pick up the pads. Go rotate back like you are, turn and pick up some of these small pads. You'll be back up to 80 boost in like 2 seconds. And that way you're not completely out of the play. If there's an opportunity to make a shot, you're there for it. That was a good half flip. I definitely would not have pre-jumped this. Especially not knowing where your teammate is. Which is going to lead me to my next point of making sure, well, not even making the next point. It's just taking us back to what I mentioned with the opponents. It's the same thing that goes for your teammate. Make sure you know where everyone is at least 90% of the time you're playing your game. Your teammate shouldn't have gone for this. This wasn't your fault, but you got to keep a close eye for your teammates, because if they're going to make dumb challenges, you're going to have to be the one that steps up and plays a little safer and make sure that you're the one that's going to be able to make it back and get the save. Because right now you both went for it. Even though it's not your fault, you both went for it, and now you have an open net. And it resulted in you getting scored on. So far that wasn't really on you, but I am going to suggest that you try to play a little on the safer side and make sure you know where people are. That way you can at least try to predict whether or not your teammate's going to actually try and go when he shouldn't or not. I definitely would have tried to make sure there was nothing going on with the play here. You took a really long time to get to this boost. Instead of going all the way over here, because your teammate is not going to be super reliable. So, you don't want to just always depend on your teammate. I'm not saying don't trust them, but don't rely on them to make every hit or even make a good hit. Instead of going for this corner boost, I would be rotating, grabbing these pads, and then check on your play as you're making your way back, because after so long you'll have the field pretty much memorized and know where everything is without even having to look for it. But in your situation, I definitely would have grabbed this boost and then the boost pad over here, checked on your play. You have 24 boost. Flip to net if you have to. Otherwise, grab this boost and rotate back up depending on what's going on with the play. Something like that. That way you're not way out of the play, and if the ball was going towards your net, it could have been problematic. Teammates just ball chasing, and that's once again, that means you're gonna have to step up and make sure that you're the one playing safer, because they are not going to. Lag, that's unfortunate. So right here, just a quick positioning pointer. Your teammate's already over here, and you're focusing on the ball, which means you don't know that your teammate's there, and if you do, you shouldn't be coming over here. You should be sitting somewhere in the mid area, right where you are in this terms of positioning on the field, but over towards mid rather than behind him, because that leaves your net wide open, and odds are you're going to be having to make an awkward save if something goes wrong. See, if you were at mid, you would have already been there for that. Although you were lagging, so that's unfortunate. But like I was saying, if you were at mid, rather than behind him, you wouldn't have had to go for this awkward angle on the ball and probably beat this guy to the ball. Could have gone a little faster. Not a big deal. I wouldn't have gone for a demo here. Your teammate wasn't going to be there for that when they were turning towards mid. The ball was too far away from the net. So even if you did get that demo, the opponent's other teammate probably would have been there to get the ball. So really make sure you're choosing your times to demo really wisely. I don't. So, although, once again, this is not your fault, but, as soon as you saw your teammate going for it, you should have just stopped going, because it's the only thing you really can do, because they're just, like I said, they're chasers, so they're not going to just change how they play instantly. So as soon as you saw him turn for that, I definitely would have just stopped and turned yourself around to reposition. I'd turn off ball cam for this. You can't see anything right now other than the ball. If you turn off ball cam, you can see everything in front of you and somewhat across. That way you know what's going on, what you need to do with the ball. Because right now, all you can do is assume. So, you know, when you're going for solo plays like this, where you have at least somewhat control of the ball, I definitely make sure to turn off your ball cam here, and keep an eye on your opponents when you do. That way you can try to predict how they're going to challenge, when they're going to challenge, and just generally where the other person is that's not about to challenge you and what they're doing. It's all really good things to keep track of. Again, this is one of these situations where you're going all the way back and you're now way out of the play. Picking up 6 of those boosts, small boost pads, would have given you, what, 60... Or 5 of those boost pads would have given you like 60 boost. So, you know, just try to remember to pick up the pads as you're going around the field. You don't always need full boost to be in the play, because you're gonna waste some of it just to get back into the play, unless you have an opportunity like this where you can slow play it. Again, you're hovering really close to your teammate. If he pops it up way over here, how are you going to be able to get to it? You can't. You have to cross over, and then you're going to get beat to the ball because you're behind your teammate. I understand you're probably there in case they miss, but even if they do miss, that's something you probably shouldn't go for, because you don't want to be in the same part of the field as your teammate. Also, not to mention, if this guy had gotten a better touch on that, it would have blasted behind you, and then you would have had to recover and use all your boost to get back. And then you're stuck in net in a 2v1 situation, more or less, with no boost. So be very careful with your positioning. Good job not going back for boost there. That was good. Good job. You did rush it a little bit. Otherwise, you would have had a little bit of a better takeoff. But no worries, you still got the goal. So good job there, and good touch to follow that. Would have been better off going to net here. Especially seeing your teammates backwards, you're the only one that's even capable to go for it, which I understand why you went for this in particular, but you have to be able to read what this guy's going to do in order to help out your teammate who is currently in a terrible position to go for the ball. That still should have been a save on his part, to be honest, but also that never should have happened in the first place because I didn't even see that touch. But ultimately, you had your best option there was to just go back to net and see what the dude was going to do, because you have to be really good with predicting what they're going to do with the ball in order to do something like that. Probably could have had a goal there if you just rotated mid, and you know I keep repeating myself, but it's just stuff that I want to point out to you and make sure you're understanding all these different situations that I'm catching the same things. So, you know, once again, you went all the way back for boost instead of staying close to the play. Could have picked up all of those boost pads in the mid and had full boost in the time that it took you to get all the way back here. But the difference is, you're actually close to the play, and you can actually do something. Whereas right now, the play is way up here and you're at net. So that's something to note. when you're going for a challenge, as soon as you see your teammate doing something like this, just jump. Honestly, just jump. They're not going to be looking for you. You have to make sure you're looking for them. This was much better positioning than what you did here. Where you just kind of sat here. This is good positioning right here. This is more what you need. When I mentioned it earlier where you were both kind of right in this area, this is much, much better. So, overall, you did well. And most of the things that I caught you on weren't really your fault. I only gave you more of a suggestion, since, you know, there wasn't a whole lot else that you could have done. The main things I really noticed with your actual gameplay was try to focus on making sure you know where people are on the field. Having that skill will also help you recognize when you're about to get demoed. But so make sure you're utilizing your analog sticks to look around, and as well as your ball cam on and off, because you can utilize both to look around and see where people are. You want, like I said, you want to know where people are pretty much at least 90% of your gameplay per match. Which takes me to my next positioning. My next point. You can't position properly if you don't know what's going on with your play. Which also has a big part in who's where and who's doing what. So, you know, make sure you're not behind your teammate like I caught you on earlier. You want more positioning, like I had pointed out, where I'm just like, yeah, this is much better positioning. You need more of that. Again, make sure you're keeping an eye on everyone, especially your teammate, to try to be the better player. You're gonna have to be the one that plays on the safer side to ensure that you all aren't double committing, because your teammates aren't going to do that. When you have control of the ball, make sure that you are turning off your ball cam to have more of a precise control on the ball, and that way you can also see where your opponents are, so you know what you need to do with the ball. And lastly, make sure you're not going back for boost every single time you see you're below half point in boost. There are a lot of small pads on the field, and those small pads make a big difference. So I would say 80% of your gameplay is who has better boost management. The other 20% is how consistent and how fast you are. I would say probably one of the biggest parts of this game is making sure you have good boost management. Because, I mean, boost is the only resource in the entire game. That it's crucial. So, just focus on those things. A lot of what I said all linked to making sure you know what's going on with the field, where people are, what they're doing, who has the ball, who has ball possession. That's going to play in your positioning, what you need to do, pretty much everything. So just keep an eye on those things and try to implement these into your gameplay. If you have any further questions, you can feel free to ask me in the hashtag General Coach chat. and I will try to help you in the best way I can. That being said, I do hope this video helps you out, my guy. That's gonna be it for the replay analysis. So make sure to drop a like down below, and also while you're there, since you're right there, I mean, you can go ahead and click that subscribe button if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, another reminder, if you haven't already, make sure to join the Discord server if you are interested in some free coaching. And yeah, once again, I do stream on Twitch daily, somewhere starting time between 8 and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's it. As always, I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out.